record on this. Okay, perfect. So as I said before, this is my projects area. And here where you see my classes, you click on the plus button. And there's two options here, join class and create class. And you will pick create class. And then here, again, there are two options. Option number one, of course, because you guys are a Google Classroom school, is just to click on this button. But then if you are not a Google Classroom school, you can just fill out the information for the class. I mean, it's not relevant for you right now. We are just going to click on import Google Classrooms. So when we do that, then you will get a list of all your Google Classrooms here. And
Okay.
then this is my only class, so I'm getting just one. And when I click on it, then it opens up and it gives me, it says, okay, class successfully created. It opens up and gives me the roster. Now, the reason it gives you the roster is because, you know, the Google Classroom usually don't consist just of gifted students. So if you want to import only the gifted students, you can actually check them like this and just import several, okay? But in case that you want to import everybody else, then you just have to select all and that's it, okay? And then you click on the bottom, on the bottom here, it says sync. And those students should be in the classroom right now. So they just showed up and here they are. And that's what you do. This is how you add your students from your Google Classroom. You will need to import them one class at a time. The reason is that we allow you to actually select specific students from a class. And this cannot be done. You know, we cannot allow you to do that for, you know, like import all your classes at once, because that's going to be impossible to kind of designate which students you want to import and which you don't.
Okay.
So that's why you need to do it one at a time. And once you do that, all your classes, so once you add your classes, they will show up here underneath my class. They usually show up on the bottom. So, you know, whatever class you're doing, the last class will show up on the bottom. And what you have here, I mean, this is actually the class. So it says Miriam's class and it says class code. And you know what, let me just get out of this account, because this account really was created only for that purpose. But let me go to my other class here. Okay, here it is. To my other account, sorry. And here, so here, for example, let's say that this is class A, that I just created class A. And so what do I have here? I have on the top, I have the menus of the class, and this is projects. So projects, but what you see here, these are all the projects that you create, that you create for your students. So, you know, all the teams and all the projects of your students are going to show up here. So these tiles are all student projects. This is also the place where you come and you want to check their work. So you want to go into a specific, now, even if the images are the same, you'll be able to distinguish between them by the names that you know, that show up there on the project tile. And you'll know whose work this is, which team this is, and then you can go in and check what they were doing. And then we have members, and members, like I said before, once you imported them, you see all the student names show up under students, and you will also see. So you'll also see that. So you are not importing teachers, but you can definitely co-teach a class with another teacher. So let's say that you are going to work with them, but you also want the classroom teacher to be there. You can do that. And the way to do that, the way to add another teacher or even another student to the system is where you see on the top, it says class A and it says class code. And it's in very small, it shows the class code. But if you want to show it big, there's a little square that you can click on, and that shows you the class code very big, and you can drag and highlight and copy it and provide this to another teacher who will join this class, or provide this to another student who will join this class, and so on, if that student wasn't imported initially into the system or something like that. To delete a student, all you have to do is click on the little trash can here. So you click on this and it tells you, oh, are you sure? And of course you have to make sure that you want to delete that student. And then to edit the class, so basically to add another student or something like that, as I said before, you can provide them with a class code, and you can also try to, if the additional student was just added to Google Classroom and you want to sync it again with the updated Google Classroom, then it says here that you can link your Google Classroom account and to import students. So what's going to happen here is that you will get again that classroom, and it's going to add the additional students that have not been added before. So that's how you handle the class. And then assignments here. So there are two ways to assign projects in Project Pulse. One of them is where you decide who's going to be in each team. But the other one is where you decide that you want to delegate. And the way you delegate a project is that you assign the project, okay? And when you delegate, you usually decide who are going to be the team leaders who will start this project. You have to, when you delegate, you have to assign team leaders. So you decide who's going to be the team leader. And then when you do that, when you choose that option, that project usually lands here in assignments. And so then the student who is the team leader will log in, will come to the class, go to assignments, and
don't pause, Sebastian, to the nurse's office.
Sorry.
okay, that's okay. And then usually it will say not started. It will be on the top here, the project that you assign, and it's going to say not started. And I'm going to just open here the not started. And then then that student will have to press start assignment, and they will then add the additionals. They will get the classroom roster, and they will add the additional students who are going to work with him or her in the team. So that's this part, that's the assignment. But I'm going to repeat this when I'm showing you how to actually assign a class.
Okay.
Yeah, questions?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
All right, perfect. Okay, so so this is about importing classes, okay? Now let me show you how you actually start the process. So as I said before, there are three ways to create projects in Project Pulse. Number one, which we highly recommend, is to go to the Project Pulse catalog. We recommend that you start with this, that you start with using the Project Pulse catalog. Why? Because using existing projects will give you an idea how to do projects in Project Pulse. And so we have different types of projects. We have starter projects. So we recommend that you actually start with a starter project. Why? Because starter projects usually last no more than a day or two. And they are usually no more than one tab. So that's easy to start. And even though they are easy and short and everything, they can be as meaningful in terms of developing student thinking as other projects. So for example, you can do any of the GLAD templates. So for example, you can do a GLAD exploration report or observation, let's say observation chart. And so if I'm going into this project, it only has one tab. And it has only one tab. It has 3 images here. And the students need to make observations about the images. So, you know, they have what we call the analysis styles, but I'm going to show you in a minute what that is. And what they need to do, they need to have observations about each of these pictures. They need to have questions about them, and they need to come up with comments about them. And again, you as a teacher can replace these images. You don't have to use the same images. You can put whatever you want here, and they have to reflect on it and use these tiles to, you know, to provide their feedback. In terms of thinking, this is a great thinking project, yet very short, easy to do, and so on. So let's see how you can do this, how you can actually start from the beginning and use this. So all you have to do is go to Project Catalog, go to Starter Project, go to that observation chart, hover over it. Now that you saw it and you like it, you hover over it and you press clone. And when you press clone, then it adds it for you to my drafts. So on the top, as I said before, there's the dashboard, and then there's my drafts. My drafts is the area where teachers author their projects before they assign them to the class. So here you have the project that you just cloned from, and it created a copy for you. This is your copy now. And you can do anything you want with it. You can change, as I said, you can change things in it, change the text, change whatever. And so here now is the time for you to change the images if you want to change them, do anything you want to do with them. And then even provide instructions. So here, I did not type instruction because it's very clear what needs to be done. But if you want to add instructions, you can type in here instructions for your students. And then, and now you have the project. Let's say that you change the images, you change stuff in here, and you are ready to go. You're ready to assign this to the class. Now let's see what's happening now. So now what you do, oops, sorry, actually I have to have it open. So now what you do is you are going to the project dashboard. So this is the project dashboard. How do you open it? You click on the 3 lines on the top right corner, and that opens the project dashboard. And here there is a section that's called Assign to Class. Now, but before doing that, before going to that step, because once you assign it, that's it. You cannot add anything else to it. But before you do that, that's why I wanted to emphasize. You add instructions if you want to add instructions. You go maybe if here's the detail, the project detail, and here you can change the image of the project if you want to change it. Just click change and add an image. And then even change the name if you want. And then here provide a description of the project if it doesn't exist. And if you have a video that you want them to kind of look at, you can put that video in here, the URL. It has to be a YouTube video because that's the only thing we support right now. So if you have a video that is not in YouTube, you need to upload it to YouTube. That's free, of course, and then have the students access it from there. And then you need to go to the, if you want to add standards, you can click on the standards. And this is where you can add standards. So you can click on the plus button here, add standards here, and then select the standards that you want to pick. So in this case, you're going to pick the Texas, the TEKS. And then you're going to go to the subject, what subject this is about, so whatever, we can put in here English language. And let's see, English language. And then you can go and then it gives you a list of all the English language standards here, TEKS, and you can pick any of those, and then whichever applies to this project, and you can just add selected standards. And when you do that, then, they will all be listed here. So all these things need to happen prior to you assigning, because you want the students to have all the standards and all the things that are necessary before they start working. Supporting materials. Many times you want them to kind of look at some articles, websites, whatever, before they work on the project. And this is where you add supporting materials. So to add supporting materials, so, let's say, so this was, these images are about, the 1929. What was it? Market crash. Market crash. And so let's say that you find some articles that you want them to also read. Let's say the Wikipedia, and I'm clicking on Wikipedia here. And I'm going to copy the URL from here. And I'm going to go back to Project Pulse. And now I'm going to go to add material and insert URL. So I'm going to insert this new URL that I just copied. And here it goes. It's here for the kids to go to and read about it. So they are not just going to get images, they also going to get some context about what they see. And by the way, supporting materials is something that you can add, but students can add as well. So once you assign it to them, and if they find other articles or things they want to consult, they can add more here. So that's something they can do as well. And then tasks. I highly recommend that you do this. And the reason is I'm sure that you have seen before project-based learning, and that project-based learning, one of the biggest problems is that you never know in a team who did what, and kids get frustrated and they complain that Joe is not carrying his weight and they had to do the whole work and everything. So to avoid that, this is probably one of the best things. And in addition to that, you also train them into a real world skill that is necessary once they grow up and they go into the work force. They know how to handle tasks. So this is a very good practice for them. And it's also helping you because nobody can come and complain and say, oh, Joe was supposed to do this, but he didn't do this. But it's not written anywhere and nobody, and Joe can just say, no, I never promised to do this or whatever, I mean, you can avoid a lot of problems doing this. So so there's two types of tasks. So when you create tasks before you assign the project, they are top level tasks. They are tasks assigned to everybody. So everybody, doesn't matter which team they are, whatever, you will assign this to everybody. So you will type the title here, whatever this is for, a due date for them to do this, and a description, what you expect them to do. And as you see here, it says assigned to, but there's no names because right now it wasn't assigned yet to anybody. So this is, as I said, top level tasks you are assigning. When you assign this project, this will get to everybody. And so these students are going to look at your top level tasks. And let's say you're going to say whatever, you're going to say something about the observation that you expect them to do, or about questions, what type of questions you want them to have, or whatever you want to give them here. And that applies to everybody. Once this is assigned, then then the students can actually create for themselves. They can create low-level tasks. And low-level task will be, once it is assigned, their names are going to show up here, the team members' names. And they can then check mark who will do something. So let's say that, they decide that Joe is going to do the first observation, but Jane will do the second. So they can assign these specific things and say, okay, I'm going to do this, you're going to do that, and so on. It's very clear who's going to do what. And they cannot, they cannot complain. They cannot, come and say, well, that saves a lot of work. And I'm going to show you, once this is assigned, I'm going to show you how the task is assigned for the low level. And let's just go here to the task and make one top level. So you'll see that it shows up in every project. So I'm going to say, whatever can we say here about this project? Focus on the hunger. On people trying to get jobs or something like that, something specific that you want them to focus on. And then we'll put a due date and a description and read the article in Wikipedia about jobs in 1929 or something, after the crash. And then just submit. So here is it, the task is here, and they can open it and they can see it. And you'll see in a minute when we assign it that it goes to everybody, that this actually goes to everybody. And then here's the assign to class. So now we are ready. You did everything, you made the changes, and you're ready to assign. When I click on assign to class, then it gives me all my classes. These are all my classes. And I can decide which class I want to assign it to. So let's say I'm going to assign to class B. And now, once I select the class that I want to assign it to, these two buttons are enabled. Create teams is the option where you know ahead of time who are going to be in each team, which students are going to be in each team. And the other option, skip teams and assign, this is the other option that I showed you when you decide to delegate it to team leaders. Right now, we're going to only deal with create teams. So we're going to go to create teams. And when we do that, it gives us that classes roster. So now I can start setting it up. I can say, okay, well, Benjamin is going to work with Daniel, and I'm going to add them to a team. And Darren is going to work with Sid, and I'm going to add them to a team. And Elizabeth will work on her own. And so here you have 3 teams for that class, all finished. And then all you have to do now is just to go to finish and assign. And when you do that, it tells you, okay, assignment processing, check class in a few minutes. Now what's happening here is because it copies this project for these 3 teams, it takes time. So the system tells you, please come back here, check in a few minutes, it's going to be here, but it takes us time to do that. So right now we don't have anything, and we can, let me just refresh it for a minute and see. And here are the 3 teams that we just created. And you get the same image as you see for all 3 of them, but the names are different. So you have here Elizabeth, this is Sid and Darren, and this is Daniel and Benjamin, okay? Now, when we go into any of one of these projects, as I said before, you know, and we go to the tasks, you'll see that in here is that same top level task that you assign to them. Okay. Now, when any of these students logs in, let's say that Benjamin, okay, logs in, and he comes to tasks. He can now create a new task. And as you see here, both of the team members' names are showing up here. So they can create, they can say, okay, I'm going to do the top 2 observations. So they can type here, top 2 observations, due date, description, what they will do, and then checking Benjamin will do those. And then that will be added here as, you know, as another task. And so it's going to be very clear who's doing what. Nobody can complain. Okay. So that's, you know, this is how it looks. This is how these students are now logging in, coming to class B, and they will find their projects there. So here it is, you know, they are in class B, they will log in, they will come and they will find their project. And then they can do, you know, they can start working on it. So that's how you, and let me go back for a minute to my drafts and also show you a few more things in the dashboard. So let me go back to this project that you just cloned. And let me go to the next one, which is publish to catalog. And publish to catalog, let's say that you know, not right now, not in the beginning. In the beginning, I recommend that you actually work on the project in the catalog. But later, when you feel that you want to design your own project, you have the ability to publish to the school catalog and to the district catalog. Why would you do that? You would do that because maybe another teacher wants to use this as well. And they like what you did. They like your project. And so if you want to publish this to the school catalog, then it gives you here, you know, you want to publish a full project, what category applies to, what grade levels, what duration, how long it will take, and the project type, whether this is a lesson plan, a template, and so on and so forth. and then just submit, and this will show up in the school catalog. And where is the school catalog? If you go to the projects area, then here under Project Pulse catalog, there is a school catalog. And in the school catalog, there are all kinds of projects that, you know, everybody else in the school can access, and every other teacher, I mean. And if you want to publish to the district catalog, then everybody in the district can access. So you have both options, they are all available. I also mentioned that, you know, sometimes if you want to delegate, how do you do that? So let's just go for a minute to the Project Pulse catalog, and let's clone another project, but this time we are not going to decide who's going to be in the teams, but we are going to assume that there's going to be one team leader who's going to actually start the project. So let's say that we will go again to any of these. Let's take a lesson plan, like a short lesson plan that you will assign. Now, let me recommend something before you start using it with students. I created an orientation, a student orientation, a self-discovery. And I highly recommend that you start with this, that you give it to, you assign it to students, because let me show you why. So here it turns the whole learning, you use Project Pulse, into a game. It says in this project, you're going to learn how to use Project Pulse by going through a journey that focuses on you. You will use the videos to learn about each feature and then practice by doing the following assignments. Describe yourself using text. Create a gallery of photos about yourself and your family. Create a question tree that will lead to your family tree. Create a family tree. Use the events tool to describe memorable events in your life. Think about your career goal and steps you need to take to achieve it. Design a treasure hunt game and manage your project. So all these are fun things that students can do without doing a moment of research. They don't need to do research. This is all about themselves, okay? And then we start with text. So text, there are videos here that I created that kind of teaches them, and you double click on it, that teaches them how to use text. So when you click on it, you know, I show up here. Hi guys, in this video, I want to show you how to use the text tool. So understand that it takes, it's exactly 2 minutes, this video. So they can take that 2 minutes to listen to how to use text. And then as exercise, they go in here and they tell us about yourself and your family. So they will describe themselves and their family. And it also shows them how to remove and delete items from the workspace. And then media, it goes to the next phase is media and how to use media. So it has all kinds of adding images, adding video, adding sound, adding files, and each of them has an exercise. Add images about yourself and your family, add a video about yourself. So all these things they can actually do and can practice by doing all these assignments and questions, and then moving on to questions, how to add questions. And then, you know, as a practice, they will do kind of like a questions tree that start, who am I? Then who is my mother? Who is my father? And they keep doing, and they exercise here how to use questions and how to use the relationship tool. So this, I highly recommend this. You know, you save yourself a lot of trouble and they will be masters. By the time they finish this, they will be masters of everything. So no problem. So that's my recommendation. So let's say that this is what you want to, you are going to the Project Pulse catalog and you are going to this one and you clone this and you delegate this. Just to practice delegation, you will delegate this. And so in a minute, it's going to show up. So here it is. And now we're going to go into the project. And this is your copy, okay? And you go to assign to class. But this time, let's say we are assigning it to class C, but this time you're going to go to skip teams and assign. And then it says assignment created, okay? And now you're going to go into the, remember we have the assignment section in the class. You go to the assignment section, and on the top it says student orientation and self-discovery. And now let's go to the members. Let's see who I can log in as. I will log in as Elizabeth. So let's say I'm going to log out as myself and log in as Elizabeth. And Elizabeth now comes and she logs in to the system. And she goes to class C. And she, one second, what was it, class? It was class C, right? Let's see. No. Oh, that's weird. Because here it is, that one that we did for her showed up. But maybe we discovered the problem with this. Let me see all project. Does she have it here? Okay, let me find out what happened here, and I will get back to you. But that's the idea, is that she can go in and then she can, but it's actually here. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry. I'm confusing you, and I'm confusing myself. She has to go to assignments. She has to. The project is here. She has to go to assignments, and it says not started. Okay. And then she has to do start assignment. And when she does that, it tells her, if you are part of a group, only the group leaders should start the assignment. Okay. And then you confirm that you know that. And then it gives you the class roster. Here's the class roster. And she decides that her and maybe Sid are going to work on this. And she presses start. And then it tells her, okay, the project is being success. The project is, you have to wait a minute until it's being copied for you, and it's going to be here. And so let's just wait a minute, and we'll see the project shows up under projects here. And here it is. Okay. And really it says Elizabeth and Sid, they are working on this. So this is the way you assign a project when you want to delegate. Okay. Always have to choose a team leader. The team leader comes into assignments, and they go there and they press on, and you saw the steps that I showed you before. Okay. So that's number 2. That's the second way. Now let's go for a second into a project, into any one of these projects. And let's see how, and I'm going to just sign out of here and go back to my account. And okay. And so, how do you work on all this? How do you, let me just take one of these longer projects that have a lot of stuff in them, so that I can show you all the functionalities. Let's say that I'm cloning this one. Should ants be protected or have their population controlled? And by the way, this is a TPSP project. And we have 17 TPSP projects mapped into project paths. This is one of them. We got the problems is one of them, for different grade levels. So this is for the younger grade levels. This is for high school. We also have, which one else? Everyone's a winner, a study of conflict, news show production, also TPSP. What else? Amazing animal adaptation, everybody on the move, storytelling, stories. We also have more. Let me show you more. Weather to the extreme, TPSP. What more? Not this, not this. Design the city of your dreams, TPSP. So you want to be a chef, Animal Nation, and yeah. So all these are TPSP projects. If you're interested, I can give you a list of all the TPSP projects. So let me just go into one of these TPSP projects. This one, the ANT project, which is the younger kids, and it doesn't have to be necessarily just very young kids. I mean, it all depends on you know, the output or the content that students create determines whether, you know, how sophisticated this project is.
Right.
So it starts with observing the ants. So it starts with it has many tabs, as you see on the top, not just one tab, as I've shown you before. And it starts with, you know, observing the ants. So there's a video that students will listen to about ants, and then they will also consult these guiding questions and add their own questions here. So actually they can produce their own questions about ants as they listen to the videos. And then they also use the sticky notes, the digital sticky notes, to write about what they saw. And you can then assign, so let's say that this is a team of 4. Each student can take their own sticky note color and write and use them, you know, to write their own notes. Now, so what do we have here? We have text, first of all, text box. So the text tool is the second tool here. These are the two, this is the tool palette. The text tool is the second tool here to create a text box. And let me just, you know what, in order to be able to make changes here, I'm gonna just clone this project. So let me clone it first, because this is the original. I don't want to mess up the original. And let's see that we have it. Yes. So here, this is my copy. Now I can mess it up. I can add whatever I want to it. Okay. So, so as I said before, here's questions. So when I click on the text tool, I click on the A button, and that brings me a new text box to the workspace. And when I click inside, I can start, I get all these text editing on the top. So this is click to edit. So this is my text, whatever I want to write, you know. And then I can change the font, and I can do bold and italic and whatever. I have all these editing tools here that I can use. Now let's say that, you know, I realize I don't need this text box anymore. So all I have to do is just click on the 3 dots and then go to archive object. Now why archive? And now why not delete? The reason is it's in purpose, because, you know, students and may inadvertently or sometimes in purpose remove stuff, especially if other students did them. And we don't want to create a situation where something that was written and done disappears permanently, you know? So what we have is we have a way to restore something that was deleted. And that's why everything that you remove from the workspace is just archived. It's not deleted permanently. Now, how do you do that? How do you actually restore something that you deleted? So on the top, the first tool, it's called the content library. And everything that was done in this project was recorded in the content library. Every single text box, every single question, everything is here and can be repurposed. This is very powerful because let's say that you gather a lot of information about something, it's all stored here, and then you want to make kind of like a compare and contrast, or you just want to use it in another tab. You don't have to redo this, you know, you can just drop it on the workspace. So, but here, this is the content library, and on the top it says show archive. So we're going to click on that button and move it to the right side. And here, this is that text box that I just archived. And I click on the arrow and I press restore. And here, it's back. Okay. This is the one that was just removed. It's back. So I still don't need it, so I'm going to archive it anyway. I'm going to get back to the content library later, and I'm going to show you the power of it. But right now, you should know how to actually archive and how to restore something that was archived. These sticky notes are actually text boxes, regular text boxes. But what we did in order to give it the image of a sticky note, we clicked on the 3 dots and we went to format item. And format item, you can color the text box any color you want. And you even have something that says mark with pin. So you see the little pins that give it kind of the feeling that this is a sticky note. So you can turn almost every text box into a sticky note like that. Now, let's say that these students are listening to this video and then come up with some questions. So to add a question, this is tool number 3. And again, you can click on the question mark and then gives you like a placeholder, like a question placeholder that you can then make larger or do anything and start typing your question and so on. So this is how you add question. So these here, this is how I did. So I'm gonna right now just archive this. Now, how do you edit an existing one? Just click inside and start typing your question here. And that's all you need to do. So there it says here, replace this text with your question about ants. So let's say that they have more and they need to add more and they don't want to each time reformat these questions. All they have to do is just click on the 3 dots and go to create copy. And then it gives them exactly the same copy with the same size. They don't need to resize it and so on. So it's all here. You can add as many questions as you want. Same story with this. Let's say that that person wants to add more sticky notes, then they need to click on the 3 dots, go to create copy, and that gives them exactly the same color, the same, size, everything is there. So they can add the additional ones. And then let's move on here and see, again, nothing new here. They listen to a video about Hey Little Ant, and then they will use these text boxes, and they have, they have here kind of scaffolding to tell them what to do. Replace this text with what you think that the author's purpose was in writing the story, and so on. As I said before, if this is a team project, of course, not everybody is going to write everything. They will have to divide the work. This is where they will go to the tasks and say, okay, Joe is going to do personal experience while Jane is going to do the author's purpose. And so that way, and it doesn't mean that only Joe will know about the personal experience and Jane will know only about authors, because they will also discuss this and they will go over it and review it and comment on it and so on. How do they comment? They click on every object has this little commenting box and they type in, oh, you forgot something here, oops. I need to answer here. Okay, so press the comment. Now what happens right now, you're not going to see anything here because this was not assigned yet to a class. But usually when it's assigned to a class, you'll see a number here showing up that says there is a comment on here. So they can comment on each other's work and add stuff to it and so on. Okay, I'm going to move on because you already know how to do questions and how to do text. And let's see if there's more here that, okay, here it is. And this is the anatomy of the ant. So here we have something that's called little labels that, kind of provide more information about different body parts. So this is called annotations. We have an annotation tool. And in an annotation, so annotation, let me go under the annotation tool is tool number 2 from the bottom. How do you create an annotation? You click on that tool. It gives you, type in a title. You add here an image or a video. And here you're going to add text. Okay. And so let's say that I want, what is it called? Let's say that it's about the abdomen of the ant. And then let's say that I'm going here and I'm going to see what is the function of the ant's abdomen. And then I'm getting here text, but maybe I'm interested in a video about that. And so here, and body parts, YouTube, or and whatever. Let's say that I'm choosing this one. And I'm just going to go to YouTube now. And I'm going to go to share. And I'm going to go to copy. I'm going to copy that URL. And now I'm going to go back to Project Pause. And I'm going to insert here where it says the image. I'm going to paste that URL. And there is a URL of that video. And here, maybe I'm going to add some text about the ant's abdomen helps it, whatever, helps it to do something. And then I can change the color, any color that I want. So let's say I'm going to choose orange. And then I can make it with the little icon or without it. Here, it's more beneficial without that icon because it takes a lot of space. So I'm going to say show label only. And then here it is. So when the students, I can put it on top of the abdomen here. And when the students come in here, you know, they can then double click on this and listen. And this is not exactly about the abdomen, doesn't matter, you know, you understand why. But that's okay. I don't know why it takes it so much time to play it. Hey.
Hey everyone, today we're learning all about ants.
Okay. So you understand the value of this, you know, how you can actually map out all the body parts and what they serve for. So you can kind of delve deeper into some phenomena, okay? This way, students will love this. And each student in the team can do something, another part or another something, okay? And then here, this is where we move on to actually the ant research, to do some research about the ant. So, you know, the lifespan, the food, the behavior, and there's a whole bunch of guiding questions here for them. And they can also add their own and basic needs, environment, so on and so forth. And then the life cycle. So here is a life cycle. And they can, you know, they can replace these image placeholders with the actual phases, and they get instructions here with the actual phases of each of the life cycle phases that an ant goes through. And then there's quite a few ant experiments that they can do. They get here like, you know, different types of experiments, like how do ants talk to each other, or what do ants like to eat, and so on and so forth. So there's instructions how to perform these experiments. And then ant social life. And this is another tool that you'll see in a minute. And so here are questions, guiding questions, and the social structure of the ant colony. So we have something that's called the components tool. We are believers in computational thinking, and components are the main parts of a specific problem. So in this case, because we are dealing with social life, what are the main parts of the ant social life? Each member, right? Each member of that family, of that ant family. So we start with, it starts with the ant colony, but then we have the queen, who is part of this. We have the worker ant, and we have the drone, and there's others. And what the students need to do is, and so a component has what we call characteristics. So when I click on the eye here, it opens up and it says, replace this text with one characteristic of the ant colony, okay? So, you know, what's special about the ant colony? Well, you know, what can you say about it? Now, what's great about this, that instead of writing a whole paragraph about the ant colony, you are breaking it down into small sentences like this that describe the ant colony as it is. And what that helps students do is that it helps them remember it better, because these short sentences are easier to remember. And it also reduces their cognitive load and makes them comprehend it much better. So how do you create components? The component tool is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th tool here. And you click on it and it gives you here a place to type the name. So in this case, we typed ant colony and put an image. So this is the image that we put here again. Very easy to put an image. You can either paste the URL or take it from the computer or even from the existing project media. And then let me show you by clicking here, the 3 dots, I can go to the edit item and show you the next. So here's again is the name, here is the image, and then you go to next. And each of these characteristics shows up here. So you replace this with one characteristic of the ant colony. So the kids will investigate that and kind of describe, you know, the characteristics. So the ant colony includes the following members. And then you can say the queen, the worker, and the drone, and there's more, I forgot, I mean, and so you keep replacing, the students keep replacing these with all the characteristics of the ant colony, and then when they are finished, they just press save. And so now when I click on the on the eye here, then see, this is what I just changed, and it shows here one characteristic of it. Now, another thing that you need to know here is that you can add as many of these characteristics by add item. If you press the add item, you can add more and more. So it can be indefinite. If you only display 6 of them, but you can add more and more of them. And then once you finish adding all of them, then press save, and that's it. So what we did here, we also used the relationship tool to connect between, so to show the hierarchical structure. And to connect anything to anything, the relationship tool is the one on the bottom. And you go to relationship, select that, and then choose the line type, whether it's solid or whether it's broken. Choose the thickness, and then whether it ends with an arrow and a color. And then when the relationship tool is selected, every object gets the little purple dots that allow you to connect them to something else. So let's say that I want to connect this one to this one. And I can even say what is the relationship between them. So here it is. So I just connected these 2 objects, and now they are connected. And by clicking on the X's on the side, I can also remove them. When the relationship tool is not selected, there is no dots and nothing is there. So that's the relationship, that's the components tool and the relationship. And finally, let's see what we have here. And this is again text and images, so you know how to create that. There are more tools. Do you have a few more minutes? Because I see that we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So let me just go, because we still have to cover, I think, a couple of tools. And let me go to another project here in the catalog that, let's go to the lesson plans, and let's go to the city of your dreams. And let me clone that for a minute. And I can show you another tool here. Okay, so here is the project, the city of your dreams. And basically, this is also a lot of tabs, as you see. Students design the city of your dreams by first learning about the city living and rural living, and then city history. And when they go to the city history, they have to look at their own city. And they have another tool. We have another tool here that's called the event tool. So if the component tool is kind of giving you the main parts of a problem. The events tool is providing you a way to describe processes, a process, or an algorithm, or a timeline. Okay, in this case, it is a timeline. Now, what the students are asked to do with the event tool is to, so here, instead of characteristics, we have steps. So this is step 1, and this is step 2, and step 3, and so, or milestones. In this case, because this is about the city history, these are milestones in the city history. So how do we create this? The event tool is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is the 6th here? You see, step is tool number 6. You click on it, and it's similar to the components. You type the name of the event. So in this case, the history of my city, that's the name. And then you add an image of the city here. And then to show you what's inside, I'm going to just edit this one, existing one. So you have, it says the history of my city, a timeline, and an image of it. And then you go next. And then it says you replace this text with a milestone in the history of your city. So you start from, start from the beginning, from 1700 something, and you describe something that happened there. And then you add an image even of that period here, by clicking inside and adding an image of that. And one of the other things that you can do here is you can add a location and you can add a date. As you see here, it says date here, but you actually can replace it with real dates. So for example, I don't know, January 24, 1787, whatever this date is. And the reason you have to type and not use a calendar here is because we wanted to allow you to also type in 500 AD or 60 BC or something like that. And then location, you click on the marker here. Let's say, that your city is in Fort Worth. Fort Worth, Texas. And I'm selecting it from Google and I'm pressing save. And what it does, it gives me the coordinates of that place. Now, when I finished and I put in here all the milestone of my city, I'm pressing save. And now there are a few views that I can, that I can look at. And one of them is, this is the traditional view. This is the view that you see all the steps and you can go through them. Then there is another view, and this is called the gallery view. And in gallery view, you see the image big. You see a big image. Right now, there's no image. This is the image placeholder. But then you see the text small, and you can go step and view what happened here. But because there's nothing here right now, it's just a template, you cannot see it. But when you have real image, it's very powerful. And then finally, you can go to map here. And in map, we mapped something here. So you have markers here on all the places we mapped. And when you click on it, it takes you to Google Maps. And this is step number 1. And step number 1, it doesn't have an image, as I said, so it's not so powerful. But it has the text and it has the image. And this is step number 2, located in another place. So this, as I said before, this is a very, very powerful tool. Just to show you how it looks with all the images and everything, let me take you to a completed projects in the catalog, and then this is going to be very, you'll see that it's very powerful. These are all completed projects, by the way. And let me take you to this project for a minute. And I'm not going to even explain what this is because I'm not going to waste your time on it. But when I go here, what this event is trying to show is how the fulfillment centers in Amazon is working. The Amazon warehouses, how the fulfillment center is working. So each of this is a step in describing those fulfillment centers and how it works. And as you see, there's images here and there is dates and everything. And so now this is the traditional view of step by step. You can scroll through the steps and see all of them and so on. But then you also have the other view of gallery. So if you go to the gallery mode, you see, as I said, you see the image is big and you see the text underneath all explaining how that works. And then finally, you see the map view. And in map view, you see on the markers, and you see here all the, you go to Google Maps and you can click on it and show all the different things happening in different locations. You know, you can see that mapped on a map.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Really very cool tool. And so that's that. I think that what else is left here? Besides, I already showed you all this. I did not show you all, you know what? Let me go back to the first project that we did. I think we put it in class B. Yeah. So if I go to any of these projects, we have a tool that's called the analysis tiles. So these tools here, they are analysis tiles. So these are the question tool. I already showed you that these are the question tool, but something that's called the analysis tiles tool can create something similar effect, and you can label it anything you want. So in this case, this is the analysis tiles. This is tool number 1, 2, 3 from the bottom. And what you have here is you can decide, the default is problem, solution, and evidence, but you can also create custom ones. So on the top, you can name it whatever, you know, you can name it here, cause. Let's say you create a cause tile, and you can say here, replace this with the cause of whatever you see, you know, cause of the problem. And then you press create. And when you do that, you just created a cause tile. So what's great about this analysis tiles is that it makes it clear what you expect of the students. Also in charts, in different types of charts. Let's say that, let me go to the catalog and let me go to templates here. And when I go here, let's say that I have, no, sorry, not these templates. I want the single tab templates. Let's say that I'm going to here, and I want to show ideate template. So here you see that there is problem tiles, and on the other side we have solution tiles. And you use the relationship tool to connect between them and show that these problems lead to this phenomena, but can be solved by these. So it's very powerful because it creates for you like a whole mind map of, or graphical organizer of the situation. And it's so clear for the students to see the problem against the solution here, and so on. So that's what's so powerful about the analysis tiles, that you can create any of these with any label that you want here. And the students know what they should type here, and they see it in a little, when you lay it out graphically like that, visually like that, it's very clear to them what's happening. So that's, these are all the tools that you have. The other things that you have is, if you want to select multiple objects to move them together, you have the arrow on the bottom here. You click on the arrow and you drag, and you can move them then together on the workspace.
Oh.
And then you also have a presentation mode. Let's say that the students have finished a project and they want to present now to the class. So I'm going to take you to a project that has more than one tab. And let's say that they finished this and they want to do a presentation to the class. They click on here on the presentation mode that turns this into kind of like a PowerPoint. And there's arrows on the top left corner. And you click on the arrow and it takes you from tab to tab. And the students can then explain what they did and how they did it. Okay, so there is presentation mode. And And we have zoom in next to it. You can zoom into phenomena. You can zoom out, and you can reset to normal. And as I said before, commenting, I already showed you. And this is the help system. You can go to the help system to find out how to do stuff. And finally, let me just log out of this and log in as a teacher to show you how you can access help, because I'm an administrator. So this is a teacher account. And in any of these projects, when you, first of all, you see here on the bottom, there is a little blue circle with a kind of disk icon. When you click on it, then you can go to send us a message. And then you type in here, you know, I need help. And this is getting to us. We are getting a message that you need help, whatever the problem is, you describe it, and then and then we will respond here. So, you know, that's another thing. I'm aware that you probably have a headache from all this. You are probably overwhelmed.
And now I'm just excited to like play around and look at it and get started.
Two things that can help you. First of all, we have YouTube channels like we have.
Yes.
Okay, so, and I'm going to send you a link with all our YouTube playlists that can help you. Okay.
Okay.
And then in there, there's like videos, 1 or 2 minute videos that show each functionality. So you don't have to really listen to all this, you know, training that I just did for you, like a 1 hour training again. Because if you just want to find out how to use text, you just go to how to use text and it will show you. In addition to that, I also recommend that even although you're not a student, you can go to the projects here, you know, to the student orientation, and those short videos can tell you exactly how to do all that stuff. So you can also utilize that. Okay. That's more or less. Your school paid for 3 hours of training. This is just the first hour. I recommend to take the other 2. There are things about project management that I need to show you, and maybe delve a little bit deeper into the advanced features. So it's up to you whether you know when you want to take them.
Okay.
Just give me, you know, kind of send me a message. We can also utilize it if you want other teachers to use the application. You can also utilize it to give them this training that I gave you, because I actually covered some of the advanced features like the components and events. These are advanced features I already covered with you. But if you want to use the other 2 sessions or maybe 1 session to train other teachers, that can be done as well.
Okay.
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 So, yeah. So that's about it. I did not show you yet how to. So as I said, there's quite a few other things that need to be shown, like how to. Yeah, I recommend that you take 1 more hour of training, the other features, but maybe use the 3rd hour for training maybe other teachers, if other teachers want to use this.
Okay. That sounds good.
So, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to send you that email with all the information of the account. And that is also the place where you can give the links, the sign-up links to other teachers if you plan to have it used by other teachers. Okay.
Okay.
That's it. That's all there is. And good luck. And I'm here to help. I mean, we are here. We are always here to help. And, you know, can be very helpful whenever you need it. So please feel free to reach out and to say, okay, I need help. I need this. I need that. We are here.
Okay. Thank you so
very
much. Well, I am super excited after seeing it, and I can't wait to get started. So I'm sure that I will have some questions after I get started. And then I will send you a message about scheduling the other hour.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Have a wonderful
Bye-bye.
afternoon.
You too.